So let's get started. Today we have Mr. Chatterjee with us. He was awarded as a Marketing Professional of the Year 2018 by ET Now. He was also awarded among the top 50 Asia's top 50 brand leaders in 2017 by CMO Asia Awards. He was also among India's 100 most influential marketing leaders of 2016 by World Marketing Congress. He's a keynote speaker. Also, he's an academic advisor for Institute of Management Technology, which is IMT. Speaking about his work experience and currently working, he's currently working as a CEO of Dalmia Life Care. We all know that Dalmia Group is one of the largest organizations group in the India. Also, he worked as a president at Shikhar Groups. Also, he worked as a head of sales and marketing at Niyati Healthcare and Research. He was also with Primal Enterprises Limited as a national sales head. He was also worked as a assistant vice president in Surya Pharmaceutical Limited. He worked as a head marketing at Fly Mobile. He also worked as a zonal sales manager with Dabur India. He worked as a regional sales manager at Ranbaxy. He also worked with ICI Paints as a regional training and development manager. Also, he worked with Canon India as a regional support sales and manager marketing. So stay tuned, and if you have any comments or any doubts about any conversation that we have in this video, just let me know in the comment box. We will definitely reply.
I had already mentioned that this is kind of something that I personally wanted to start, because for the students, I have a YouTube channel with around more than 1 lakh students base. It's just been 3 years, but I have due to this crisis, what happened is the mentorship thing has got hampered for the student. There are no teachers to guide them or teach them right now in front of them, because everybody is at home and nobody wants to get in touch with each other. So this is something that I specifically talk, and I specifically have a conversation with especially the CXOs, which are the leaders of the industry. So they can, if they have anything related, they could tell a student what they are kind of right now in need of newcomers to do. So that would be really great for them to enter this crisis and make a good career out of it, even if it's a crisis. Okay. So basically, this is the idea, and we are going to talk about the same. So first question I would ask is, first of all, about you, that you are into a CEO position in the healthcare. The Dalmia Groups, one of the vertical of Dalmia Groups. So what is the most important aspect right now, looking at this lockdown and the crisis? What should you think that is most important for you right now?
Well, it's the way I have always explained things in life. Life is all about a glass which is half empty and half full. It's the way you look at it. You can always call the glass half empty, and you can always call the glass half full.
Right.
Crisis situations like this are no different. The only thing is that with the present crisis of corona, it was something which we were unprepared for. We were never aware about such kind of challenges which one would need to kind of face in human life. If you look at the way deaths otherwise have happened in our country and in the world globally, just to give you a small example, tuberculosis alone takes about 4.5 lakh of lives a year, which is about 1,200 odd lives, in a month, in a day. So therefore, it's not about losing lives, right? It's about the communicable part of the disease, which is making people more disarranged, right? Now, having said that, if uh, if we have all studied history, which I'm sure we all have at given point in our life, the life today is no different than the discipline and the practices which were put forth back to us some about 100, years ago, right? We had taken for granted that the Golgappa or the chaat or the bhels which are coming across to us was doing all good to us. We had taken for granted that the vegetables and the fruits which we were buying with the insecticides and the pesticides inserted into it are doing good for us. We are taken for granted that walking with our shoes inside the house, right into our bedrooms without changing clothes, going off to the bed was okay with us. If you look at it in one way, we have stopped doing all of it. That's what the life is with COVID. is just to keep your basics right. That's one. Two, yes, there are challenges with respect to economy and the other way around. So I I see it in a way where this situation is not a there are times of life when you change your courses. This is the situation you prevail. For example, if you, I'm sure you have played cricket, Japar, right? And you love watching cricket matches too. So
Yes, yes,
in
right.
a cricket match, you don't attack every point of time. There are times when you attack. There are times when you defend. There are times when you just keep the scoreboard ticking with the final objective that you'll get to win at the end of the match. There has to be a strategy behind it. Situations like this are not the time where you need to be aggressive. Oh, my growth is going away. Oh, my top lines are eroding away. Right? This is the time for resilience. This is the time for a taste of character, a taste of integrity, and a taste of the values of a human being. This is the time for consolidation. Right? So, if we have consolidated our things correctly, this situation will only help sediment the loose dust beneath our feet and evolve us and bring us out a much more stronger person. One thing for sure, COVID or no COVID, life will go on till it has to. If you have been brought in this earth, your every day's food and grain and water is all pre-decided, right? So no matter whatever you do, you just cannot evolve and disappear away the next day. If you have to leave here for some time, you'll have to be here for some time. So therefore, that's all the more important.
Absolutely, that's a human aspect that you have given to this, kind of a crisis, whole crisis. That the kind, this is a point where it's a resilience, not about the if you're losing your growth or the top line or your profits or something.
Right.
Absolutely. So, I would like to, the methodology that you have that you just explained, how would you like to relate it to a student who is into last year or something in the, he's just freshly graduate, and obviously he's going to be very concerned about the strategic changes that are going to happen from the company's end when they are going to hire students, or more, maybe they are laying off right now and they don't want it. So how do you think that a student should cope up with that?
Sure. See, the way it's happening now, uh, now, and that's not something to do only with the COVID times, right? That's been a culture which has been pre-existent in an organization all the while through. I'm sure this is not the first time when people are saying that there's a dearth of jobs in the market. There has been at every quarter or probably at every financial year, we have been hearing this uh, stories or we have been getting this news which is arousing from various sectors of the market. The job market has been bad this year. The job market has been bad this year. But yet people are coming out. Yet people are getting jobs. Yet people are moving ahead. Right? Nobody stops their life with respect to a market. Now, from the student's point of view is concerned, yes, what's going to change is the experimentative nature of the organizations. From an organizational standpoint of view, I would probably, if I would have experimented with 10 people in the past, I would experiment with about, say, 4 people right now. It does not mean the other six are not good enough. It's just that I'm being a bit doubly sure about the kind of people I take. One. Two, competency will be graded further more than the degrees alone. A respective individual's competency will be measured in a very different way altogether. Three, multitasking would be the name of the game now. Organizations would love to have somebody who can lend their shoulders for 2 to 3 different things. And that's once again a matter of attitude. I mean, we need not have waited for COVID to come and tell us this. This is a normal factor, right? As an individual, if you're wanting to grow, if you're showing your intent to take responsibilities in more things than one, an organization will always feel happy doing that. Now, having said that, while a certain amount of jobs which are to deal with the aspect of one-on-one with the consumer or the customer, right? Jobs with respect to sales and distribution related jobs, which are manpower heavy jobs. jobs with respect to, I would say, metallurgical or mining, jobs with respect to any human interface where a one-on-one is more active. Those kind of jobs will definitely take a little amount of hit, and that too for some time. Right? It's not going to last for more than another 8 to 9 months. So that's one part of the story. While at the same time, there will be many jobs opening up in other sectors, jobs related to technology. Now, technology, once again, is a very subjective kind of a word. You always don't need to be a coder yourself to be somebody good in technology. Technology, for any engineer or for any management student, we all do our planning, our planograms, our flowcharts. Technology is all about that flowchart, getting it right. So if you get the flowchart right, all you have to do is now give the flowchart to a coder who will translate it for you. It's almost like you are wanting to create a logo of your company, assuming you're launching a company for yourself, Jafar, and you're wanting to do a logo of your company. Now you are not somebody who's competent probably on a Corel Draw or Photoshop. You will not be able to do it by yourself. But you will give definitely this is the color I want, this is the kind of look and feel I want, this is the kind of graphics I want. So the vision is yours. Somebody else is only translating it into reality. That's the only difference. So technology jobs will take an immense step forward. One of the most critical things for students today, I would say, particularly I would say for people who are passing out this year and also passing out next year. The world hates problems across. Nobody likes problems. But trust me, problem is the only reason professionals like me and a billion like me actually exist in this world. Had there been no problems, there would have been no need for professionals like us to come and run the show and run the business, right? So it's very important. Uh, and at the same point of time, if you see great businesses, they always have come out of one problem statement. So whenever you had a problem, to mitigate that problem, the solution became a big business idea. This is a great time for students in particular to identify those problems. So somebody probably spends about, I would say, 7 days listing down problems. Trust me, on the eighth day, that person will end up with 2 to 3 great business ideas. And those problems need to be, the more seclusive they are, more the problems have been not addressed by somebody else, the greater is the valuation the business is going to generate. So, technology based entrepreneurship, that too I would say, would take a leapfrog from here, a super leapfrog. I mean, today, uh, in our country, there's been a data segregation which has been done on COVID. It's called covidindia19.org. Right? You guys can check it out, Google it out. It's a team set of people who have been using zero mechanism. They've invested 0 rupee. They've been using a Mnet platform, right? They've been using all tools which are available free, and today they have created a database which I'm not naming the companies, but they're wanting to buy it off at a super huge price. And all these guys are freelancers. They were respective young professionals like you, somebody already doing a job, somebody about and they use those tools to kind of build up this wonderful platform. So out of a 0 rupee investment, today they're looking at some huge $1 million coming up their way. Now, the point is, in every adversity lies an opportunity. Here too, for students, opportunities are ample and plenty. Yes, they would not be the conventional ones. It would not be the same as organizations coming into the institute, picking up five, offering up letters to two, and people walking up with their offer letters. But then it would be different now. If you can showcase your set of skills, things would be very different. For example, a case in point is you, Jafar. Today, out of the many students who have been studying at IIT, Roorkee, right? You happen to be one of them who thought differently. You're reaching out to people, you're trying to take their views, opinions. Look at the kind of content you would have generated by the end of this month or of another month, and the kind of interactions which you have done so far. I mean, this itself, I'm not spilling out the business ideas to you, though I'm getting tempted to do so. But this itself, you're sitting on a business idea already, not one. I can see at least 4 to 5 of them, right? So you're doing something differently. You're making an opportunity out of an adversity. So the more we generate such opportunistic ideas by addressing the problem areas, for example, things would become much more easier, much more easier.
Absolutely, sir. You have covered a lot of things in this one question. That starting from the being a multitasker, and people have to approach to companies that are like they can take up to 2 or 3 departments, right? And they can work versatilely on that. And students have to take that initiative by themselves, because company is not going to ask them if you can work here and there.
Absolutely.
Students have to be very proactive to tell them that I can also take care of that, I can take care of that, so that
You're very
company
right.
should be really
You're
happy
very
to.
right. Because nobody will have the time and patience to read through you unless you show that intent yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also the one thing that I really liked one of the things that you said, that a person should jot down the problem statements, then he'll know where to serve exactly, because
Absolutely.
a clarity should be for himself as well. And because then we can target properly what company I want to join, and what I can give them a proper problem statement. Like that's a really great thing that you just
And parallelly,
said.
when
Yeah.
you do the problem statements, every organization is going through their share of problems right now, right? And news or probably information today is no longer restricted to only organization officials, professionals. It's all across available. Whenever you get an opportunity to reach out to an organization, or when you have interaction with them, do a bit of fact finding about the organization, the problem they are facing today, and if one can exhibit a couple of such skills which they hold, which can be a value addition to those problem addressers. Trust me, if I am a HR person, if I've come to take an interview and I know my set of problems today, and if I see an individual who is trying to give me an idea of not how great he or she has been in their life or in their academia, because today you're working for me, I need you for my benefit, right? My organization's benefit. So if I see you having solving my problems, I will not even wink my eye before I offer you the offer letter.
Absolutely. So yeah, that a student should know. And I have really seen, even in the IITs as well, people the students don't really go and fact check about what company they are going to join, and they dream to get selected, which I personally don't feel like which is a right way
I'm
to
very sorry to
appear
say
for an
this.
interview.
I'm very sorry to say this. You're right, and I've taken probably, I don't know, I won't be able to count the number of interviews I've taken in my life in the past 23 years. But then, very few people, Jafar, have come across who actually prepare themselves for an interview. I mean, there have been cases when you even ask, "Have you seen the website?" and the other person just nods off and head said, "I'm sorry, which website are you talking about?" So that's very, I would say, very improper, and to expect things differently. So even if you do a slight amount of a homework on the current scenario, a lot can happen. A lot can happen. Trust me when I'm saying this. A lot can happen.
Even if just a Google search about the company will give you many fact checks about what they are doing and what everything is. That is just a kind of 15 to 20 minutes of homework that a student should do. And right now in the crisis, I mean, you would also recommend to students that do this before they approach any company, and that's a good thing to do right now, and very important. So
you have time right now to do that.
Yeah. Yes. And another thing that you just said, that about the technical job, you really good that you just cleared the misconception that being into technical job means the coding and all part. Though it is not just coding, it's all about the logic, and if you just know the logic, the coders are there to get it into the reality for sure.
You look for yourself in all of the tech companies, be it at the Infosys level or TCS or probably Mahindra or probably Wipro. You go to any of these companies, right? The people actually who generate business and who are scaling up the order are not the coders. They're the problem solvers. So they go, interact, understand, come back, sit with their team, jot down the planogram, the flowchart, and then it is left to the coders. Then the technology business. But technology does not mean you need to be a programmer yourself or a coder yourself, right? If you can look at technology in a different light altogether, it's a very interesting field to be there.
Absolutely, it is always, it's a saying always that in a IT company, a CEO is not the best coder in the company or the
Absolutely,
organization,
absolutely,
right?
bang on,
Uh,
bang on.
that's a kind of very true, and students should understand that. For now, we have covered a lot of things right now. I asked you the questions. Maybe to share with students, you can definitely do that.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get your last part once again.
Okay,
Your
so
last line which
if
you
you
said?
have anything, like if you have anything apart from the questions that you have just answered, maybe you will have many thoughts in the mind, and you would like to convey it to the students. So you can do it in this part, right?
Okay, I will just kind of give a summary, I would say, in a way. Uh, you know, I have myself come out of such situations in my life. I know what apprehensions and how the fear grips you in such situations. As it is, the fear is always gripping you in normal times. Now, the fear is only magnified 10 to 15 times more. But to be very honest, uh, the fear is more in the mind than actually it is there in reality. And the good part about our country is that another about 6 to 7 years from now, data speak for themselves that 65% of our population would be youth centric, right? And that would mean that the economy will actually be handled by the youth, both as a consumer and also as a provider, which gives the youth, and when I say youth, I'm talking in particular about the people who are standing at the bridge of youth, just passing out and stepping out and taking the responsibility. That's a very critical part of their lives. When you are at that critical age, being responsible for your words, deeds, and actions is extremely important because what you will be setting a predicament for now is going to be followed for many, many decades to come because it will take at least 120 to 150 years to once again plow this cycle back from a youth to a senior youth or probably a mid old age person dominated country. So the next 120 to 150 years, India will be called a youth oriented country. So therefore, the actions and the deeds are very, very important. That's one. Two, uh, a job is, you know, it's very old terminology. A job done. It's come from the British, definitely for sure, which has been given to us. A job assigned is like almost like a task given, right? The job word is very wrong. Probably I would dream of one that such day when this word job would get replaced with something else more appropriate. But then uh, to sustain yourself and to sustain your family and to grow, one does not need a tag or a job or somebody to give them something to do, right? There's a plethora of ways, a plethora of situations where one can evolve, where you make yourself worthy rather than asking for your worth. And the best way to make yourself worthy is to become more knowledgeable. And that's one thing, which, irrespective of no matter howsoever hard the viruses hit globally, that's never going to go away. So I think the best time which you can invest, uh, even if somebody starts his or her career after 1 year or after 1.5 years, trust me, the world would not come to an end that soon, right? There are many more centuries left to the world. So even if you have to invest about a year or year and a half in building up yourself and properly gearing up yourself for the better times to come, I think invest the time now instead of getting worried. This is the time, once again, I repeat, to consolidate, not to get panicked, not to get apprehensive about what's going to happen. Things are going to happen, right, for sure. The world was not that bad when it was got created, then the world was not that good either when it got created. We made it better or for worse, it's up to us, right? But it's for good. For one thing, you are in Pune, I'm in Delhi. I've been for the past 15 years, I've never seen Delhi skies and Delhi weather conditions saying that the air is not harmful. Thanks to, once again, I would say the corona probably has revived Delhi in such way today we can breathe here, right? It says Delhi air is
Right.
clear, and I'm so happy to see that. So the cleansing act has been done, or probably I would say it's on process. The good part is that, okay, let's continue with this. Let students invest their time, do some right things like you are doing, some innovative things like people like you are following up, and it will be a great piece in the times to come.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the great advices that you have just given. That students should make themselves worthy enough, and some shouldn't ask for their worth, and make their capable. And the key is to knowledge right now.
There's a line
Knowledge,
which I remember
very
in the
industry
music.
specific.
There's a line which I remember in the music album called Junoon, and a line which has inspired me
Mm.
quite many number of times. खुद ही को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से खुद पूछे कि बता तेरी रजा क्या है.
Bilkul,
So
bilkul. Very, really great line. Yeah.
that's
So
how one should
absolutely, a student should understand this and this crisis at least, and be very industry specific knowledge and make themselves worthy enough to get actually solve the real problem, just instead of reaching out to people and saying that I'll do it, but I'll when they actually assign a task and they're going to fill that's not going to sustain for a long time, for sure. So thank you so much, sir, for coming to this platform and giving me a chance to interact with you, because it's been a quite
Thank
a
you,
long
Jafar. It
time
was
that
my
we're
pleasure.
following. Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Have a great day.
Take care, Jafar. And